Alright guys, this is part 2, and I don't know if I missed the Texas highway chase in the scene-to-scene change, but I wanted to discuss that scene because it was a really good scene, where we had Galvatron and Stinger going out to intercept the Autobots. And hearing Frank Welker's voice come out of Galvatron was just insane. Just insane. So, Optimus says, "You have no soul!" And Galvatron says, "That means I can't feel any pain!" And then they just go at it. And then he has Galvatron on the ground, but then comes the face gun. The face gun of "you're going to get it now." Gets shot once in the back, and then he staggers and turns around, and then gets shot again in the front of the chest, and he lands on a car that Tessa just happens to be in. Excuse me. And he says, "Who sent you here?" And Lockdown says, "You think you were born, you were built, and they want you back." And then he goes up to his ship and puts a net around the car and captures Optimus. And then he says, "Put that human in the trash." But she ends up getting out of the car and getting chased by the wolves, while all the Autobots go onto Lockdown's ship and try to rescue Optimus, which is very easy for them to do because all the wolves are chasing the humans. And when the humans find the gun blades, that was pretty epic. Although I predicted that Jack Rayner was going to chicken out, and he did. I was like, okay, he's going to go back on his word. I know he is, and then he did. And I was like, I knew this was going to happen. And then Mark Wahlberg found out how it works. And he's like, "I'm so going to patent this." And I'm like, yeah, you are. So there was that. And then Lockdown doesn't know that Optimus is getting out of there. And so they steal the back of the ship, and Hound says, "Let's give it a whirl." And they take off. Optimus says, "Lockdown will be in deep space before he realizes I'm gone." And that was really cool. So they fly, and then Crosshairs and Bumblebee steal a drone ship and fly off. And then I laughed really hard when Crosshairs was trying to teach Cade and Shane how to shoot the drone ship guns. I think it was like pull, shoot, something, repeat. I can't remember, but it was pretty funny. He's like, "P, you fly this thing. It's my time to shine." And then he does that backflip and pulls the parachutes and goes, "Yeah!" with those big Tech 9s of his, and that was epic. That was Chicago, I believe. Excuse me, I don't know for sure, but that I believe that was Chicago. So anyway, after that battle, we find out that Stanley Tucci is wanting to move his manufacturing over to his China plant in Beijing. Not knowing all the while that Galvatron's plan, because he's a rogue version of Megatron, Galvatron's plan is to drop a seed in Beijing and cyberform the biggest city in China. And that really surprised me, because I didn't expect Galvatron to have a master plan. I expected Lockdown to be the villain, the main villain. And then Galvatron throws that in there. I'm like, whoa, he has a master plan, which I thought was really epic. I mean, I really like that. So then they go over to Beijing, and then there's this fight between Mark Wahlberg and Titus Welliver. They're running across rooftops and shooting, and Titus Welliver's shooting at him, and all of that. And that was a really intense scene. And then Titus says, "I'm coming for you!" And then they get in this big fight. Meanwhile, the robots are fighting, and I think the ship that Optimus and Hound are driving crashes in the geologic park. But this is after. I'm sorry I'm skipping all over the place, but while still in Lockdown's ship, Optimus finds Grimlock in a jail cell. And Grimlock says, "So the legend exists." And that was pretty freaking amazing. And then Optimus just shows up with the Dinobots in the park, He's like, you must stand with us. And then Grimlock just transforms and then runs at him. You must stand and fight with us. Bam! Shield smack from the trailer. That was freaking amazing. Excuse me. I'm not feeling too well, so pardon my voice if it doesn't sound real good. But anyway. So that was that. And this is Hong Kong, I believe. No, it's not Hong Kong. It's China. It's one of the two. So, then after the smack, the Dinobots are all just suddenly tamed. And they ride into battle. And, of course, the riding into battle scene was just epic. And then Lockdown realizes that half his trophies are gone, and he is furious. So he turns around. It says, Optimus Prime shall know my wrath. And he starts sucking up everything. Sucking up ferry ships and just dropping stuff all over everybody. And that was intense. And then he started to pick up the Dinobots, and they were scratching on the roof. And then Optimus threw something in there and stopped the tractor beam. And he did his classic, yeah! And threw that thing up there. And I thought that was really intense. And then Lockdown's furious at that, so he comes out of his ship and just starts whooping Optimus Prime. And I was like, okay, I kind of knew this was going to happen, but it's still epic! And so, anyway. Then he just grabs his Prime sword and stabs him with it. And I was like, oh no! And then Bumblebee rolls up and just starts whooping him in Lockdown and says, you're all gonna die! And then Optimus Prime somehow ends up killing Harold Attinger, and we see that. And then I think that might be before he gets stabbed, I'm not sure. But then Tessa and Shane come along, and while Mark Wahlberg is fighting Lockdown, Shane gets in a tow truck, and Tessa attaches the cable from the tow truck to Prime's sword, and they pull it out of him, and then he immediately grabs it, lunges, dives forward, stabs Lockdown in the gut, and then moves the sword upward and kills him. And I'm like, yes! Because this whole time I thought Bumblebee was going to be the one to kill Lockdown, but when Optimus did it, I was like, yeah! I thought that was really cool, so there's that. And then, I think then that's right before the end when everybody meets up and Prime gives his defend this family, Autobots, as they have you. And then Cade goes, Prime, what was you? Again, he's like, Cade Yeager, I do not know. But when you look at the stars, think of one of them as my soul. And then he takes off with, I think, the seed. Was it the seed? Yeah, he takes off with the seed into deep space, and he's like, I send this message to my creators. I'm coming for you. And then that's the end of the movie, which I thought was really epic. And I was sitting there just going, yay, applauding in my seat. And then I got up, and then as soon as we got back, I'm like, oh man, I hope there wasn't a scene during the credits, because if there was, we missed it. So if there was, please let me know. And don't be afraid to tell me what it was. I don't care about that anymore. I've seen the movie. And I'm going to wait till it comes out on DVD. And then I'm just going to buy it and have a marathon of all the 4 movies. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this spoiler-filled review in 2 parts. And stay tuned to this channel. And if you like what you see, share it with your friends. I've got more stuff coming up. I'll think of when that's going to happen. But this channel will be for anything Transformers related that I do, meaning mostly action figure reviews, which I will start doing maybe in a couple of weeks. And then this will also be the channel where I discuss movies, both spoiler-free and spoiler-filled, so stay tuned for those. And guys, this has been Optitron Prime. If you like what you see, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys later.